as we're down in Queenstown, and we're going to be doing the circle to land circuit back into Queenstown. I just thought we'd try that out, and we've got the Qantas 737 that we're going to try out with today. So we're pretty much going to fly the circuit. We'll come down to 4,000 feet after following the arc round, and then once we get down to the VOR for Queenstown, we'll basically disconnect. We'll run a circle around the mountain, which is just before the runway, and then we'll circle to land and come in for runway 23. So don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. Help us get to that 2k subscriber goal. And now we can get inside the cockpit and start the aircraft up ready for our quick flight today. Okay, so we're in the 737 now. So we'll go overhead, we'll get the battery on and guarded. Standby power is guarded, ground power is on. We'll go to bat and ground power. From there we can arm the emergency lights, we can get our panel lights on and ready to go. We'll put the chimes on, fasten seatbelts can go on, and get the IRSs all aligned now. So we'll go over to nav. From there we'll get the one pump on, get the APU started so we can get out. Signal strobes and collision. Go ahead and test the overheat now, which is fine. So we'll get the window heat, which is on and checked. From there we'll get the trim air on with the PacX. Isolation valve can be open. Bleeds are on, put the APU bleed on before it comes on. You can take off the engine bleeds, which are set. Both engines can go over as the APU is now starting up. So we'll go get our panel lights on now, which are all in and lit. Go over and do the APU test. Okay, so we've got the overheat detection, the engine fire, which is checked and set. Go and do the terrain.
Slow. Pull up. Wind shear. Wind shear. Wind shear.
Okay, irises are ready.
Terrain. Pull up. Obstacle. Obstacle.
Max speed are tested.
Airspeed low.
Okay, so we test the cargo now, which is all set and ready for us to go. So we'll go into the FMC now and get everything all set for us, ready for our departure today. So we go for our positioning. We've got November Quebec. So we're going for our positioning now. So we've got November Zulu, Quebec November. Go get the left GPS. Get our positioning. Shove that in. Over to our route. Okay, we're coming back in for Queenstown. Now on the departure we're going to be leaving runway 23, and on the departure we are going to be taking the Ipnor for Delta. So once we leave out from Enkov we need to be above 5,200, max 210 knots for that right turn to 303, and then we'll transition from Apna up to Libla. Okay, so there's the Ipna 4 Delta. We're going to transition for Libla. Okay, and then on our arrival we're literally going to be coming back from Libla, which is going to be down in, as we can see, we've got the Ubdam 3 Alpha arrival. Okay, which is set. Transition from Libla again, and we are coming in for the VOR Bravo, and we're going to transition at Actux. We're going to actually go from the Delta Oscar to 08, and then we can clear that up as we get in. So we'll activate that off. We'll go over into our plan now, so we can plan out the route as we need. So we're going to take off, we're going to follow out all the way up onto the 303, all the way up to Libla, where we'll then basically turn around what we can do. So we're going to come in for the 120, so we'll put 120 in for the inbound course. Can take a right turn, 1.5, which is fine. So we'll check the legs now. You can see that we've got the hold in for Libla. So now when we go back onto our plan, we can see that once we get up to Libla, then make that right hand turn and then come around back down all the way to Ublin, where we're then going to make that series onto the right arc, and then once we get down to ASUS, we're then going to come across, we'll hit the VOR for Queenstown, and then as soon as we hit the Queenstown VOR, we're then going to turn around and then come back in for the runway. So that's everything all set, there's no discontinuities or anything there, which is fine. So we'll get the plan back off, go over into our route, we'll get the perf now all set up and ready to go. We've got reserves of 2, cost index is going to be 5240 we'll go for. Okay, steep descent, we'll take control of the descent after, so we'll go for 240. Minimums is already, land altitude's already set. Get the APU all started and switched over now, go to the Gen 1, your damp can now come on, we can get the fuel pumps in, Pro Peats will come on after, the electrics can stay on, APU bleeds on, and everything else is all good and ready for us to go. So, as that's all set, we'll get our takeoff performance, and then we'll be all good to go. I'm not going to put the ISA in, as I haven't got the information today. So we'll go to our flaps, which is going to be a flaps 5, we've got 136, 138 and V2 146. So we'll put 146 in, which is set. Flight directors can now come on. Activate the first officer's side. QNH. We'll get a QNH 2962, which is set. Which is set. Auto braking BRTO, and we can now get the aircraft all configured, ready to go. So we'll call the tug, we'll close the doors, everything all set there. Okay, so we're going to go for a bleeds off takeoff. So the right and left pack will be auto, isolation valve will be closed, left and right engine bleed will be off, and APU bleed will be on. So we'll switch over the buses after takeoff, and then we'll get the aircraft all configured.
So connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
Okay, parking brake released.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Okay, so go over now. Get the engines all started up. So we can turn the packs off, and we'll go for engine number 2. Start valves open. N2 is increasing. All pressures come to life, 25%, and inject fuel. Okay, so engine number 2 now has turned over, EGT stabilising. As we now get ready to push back, we'll enter onto the runway and then back taxi up, where we'll turn around and then get ready for takeoff. So we'll do the bleeds off and get everything all set. So engine number 2 switch has come back now, so we'll go for engine number 1. Okay, start valves open. N2 is increasing, oil pressure is now at 9. 25%, we'll inject fuel, and we'll get the aircraft all ready for our departure.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
So we'll go ahead and set the parking brake. Engine number 1 switch just transferred.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
So put the Pro Peats on now. Get the packs back to auto. Everything else will get configured for the packs. So for the bleeds off takeoff, we've got the right packs, left and right packs will be auto. Isolation valve will be closed, which will close off at the end. APU bleed will be on, and the right and left engine bleeds will be off, so it's pretty much all set up right now. We just need to close off the isolation valve, and then we are all set to go. Then after takeoff we'll switch over the buses, and then we'll be all set. So tug's now lowering us down. We can do the pre-flight checks before we do roll out. Got 146 for V2, just bring the control column over now.
So is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal will be on the left. We'll see you next time. Have a safe flight.
Okay, so we'll see you soon. So we'll go in and get our trim, get that all set. Okay, so 28. Which goes 450. Which is set. So we're all good there and ready for our taxi. So like I say, all we've got to do is switch over the buses after takeoff, and before takeoff we just need to close the isolation valve. So logo can go on now. Tell cabin that we are ready to go.
When you are. On behalf of the cabin,
Okay, so we drop off flaps 5.
you aboard our flight. As you find your seat, be sure to place your larger carry-on items in the overhead bins and
Release
smaller
parking
items
brake.
underneath the seat in front of you. If you have trouble finding a location for any
Taxi
of your
lights
carry-on
can go on.
items, please use the flight attendant call button over your seat and somebody will assist you.
So we're going to make this right hand turn.
After you put your carry-on inside of it, please close the bin as a courtesy to other passengers. Once all your items are put away, please clear the aisle and sit down in your seat to allow other passengers to find their seats as well. If you are seated in an emergency exit row, please leave the exit seating responsibilities in the safety card in the seat back in front of you. Please make sure you are willing and able to perform the actions required. If you are not able or prefer not to perform these actions,
Okay, so
please
we're
let a flight
onto the runway
attendant
now.
know so you can be reseated. You are free to use your portable electronic devices during the boarding process. We ask that larger electronic devices are stowed once we depart from the gate. Thank you and welcome aboard.
Okay, so strobes can now go on. Put the wheel and wing well on.
Flight attendants, prepare for takeoff, please.
There, runway tunnels can go on.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard Flight 423. Our flight time will be roughly 45 minutes. Please note the cabin door is now closed. We ask that you make sure that all devices are in airplane mode and your larger devices are now
So we
set
taxi down to the end of 2-3
If you
now.
have not already, please fasten your seatbelt and verify it is low and tight across your lap. Your tray tables and seatbacks must be in the full upright and locked position for departure. Cabin crew, prepare doors for departure, cross-check, verify straps, and stand by for all calls. Cabin crew, prepare cabin for departure.
Okay, so we're going to taxi to the end and then we'll turn around, get the aircraft all ready to go.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the flight attendants for a safety demonstration. When
Get the
seatbelt
anti-ice
is
on
fastened,
after
please make
takeoff.
sure that your seatbelts are fastened low and tight across your lap. To fasten, insert the metal
Okay.
fittings into one another and tighten by pulling on the loose end of the strap. To release your seatbelt, lift the upper portion of the buckle. We suggest that seatbelts will fasten throughout the entire flight as you may experience unexpected turbulence. There are several emergency exits on this aircraft. Please take a few moments now to locate your nearest exit. In some cases, your nearest exit may be behind you. If we need to evacuate the aircraft, floor-level lighting will guide you towards the exit. In the event that the cabin loses pressure, an oxygen mask will drop right in front of you. Start the flow of oxygen, pull the mask towards you. Place it firmly over your nose and mouth, and secure the elastic band behind your head. Tighten the straps if necessary and breathe normally. Although the bag does not inflate, oxygen is flowing to the mask. If you are traveling with a child or someone who requires assistance, secure your mask first and then assist others. Leave your mask on until a member of the crew advises you it's safe to remove it. In the unlikely event of a water landing, a life vest is located in a pouch under your seat or between the armrests. When
So we're just near to the end. We've got
open
the
the
autos in as
plastic
well.
pouch and remove the vest.
Run the circuit, we'll get to 4,000 feet at Queenstown VOR, and then we'll practically make a right hand turn circle around and then intercept onto the runway for the 234.
When exiting the aircraft. If your life vest does not inflate automatically, blow into the mouthpieces for manual inflation. Each vest is equipped with a whistle and light. If necessary, your seat cushion can be used as a secondary pushing device. Pull the cushion from the seat, slip your arms into the straps, and hug the cushion to your chest.
So we're ready to
Once
go
again,
now.
all devices must be in airplane mode and your larger devices must be turned off and stowed at this time. Please securely stow your personal items. Make sure your seatbelts are fastened and seatbacks and tray tables are in their full upright position. We remind you that this is a non-smoking flight. Tampering with, disabling, or destroying the smoke detectors located in the lavatories is prohibited by law. All of this information can be found in the safety card located in the seat back in front of you. Please read it and let a cabin member know if you have any questions. Thank you for flying with us again, and we hope you enjoy your flight.
So we'll make that U-turn around. Okay, we'll line her up. After takeoff, we'll line her up straight. So we'll just brake here for now. Go overhead now, we'll get our landing lights on. We just need to close the isolation valve, which is set. So we're all set for takeoff. Auto brakes RTO, flaps are 5. Everything else is all good for us to go. So what we can do is we can release the brake, go to 40%. Okay. And so we go. Airspeed live.
80 knots.
Check. Throttle hold. 100 knots. He's back on the column.
E1, rotate.
Rotate.
Positive rate.
Gear up. Check. LNAV can be engaged. 210. So we go to flaps up. 210. Let's make that left turn out now.
1000.
Auto brake can be disarmed. Check. Once we just come out onto that left hand turn. We'll then get the packs and that all set up and ready to go. So as we climb up now through a flaps 1, can now go and get the engine bleeds back on. The pack can go to auto, APU bleed can go on. So we stay for 210. Following the flight director now, as we are at flaps up, we can go to VNAV, which is going to stay for 210 as we've got that on the speed restrictions. So as we currently just adapt, as we track the 316 or the 216, which is set, and then we'll go into that right hand turn, max banks 25 degrees. Start switches are continuous, which are checked. As we pass 6,000, we need to be about 5,002 once we pass the takeoff. So we'll be on track. We have a look now as we just go up. We can check on the AV tab now as we just pan down. We'll be heading up and then getting ready to go into that right hand turn. When we do take that right hand turn, we're going on to the 303. Let's stay for our flaps up now. Can trim in a little too. There we go. So we're going to carry it to 303. Just checked. Coming in to 10,000 feet now. Turn off the landing lights. Runway turn-offs, taxis can go off
we are
with
now
the wheel up.
passing through 10,000 feet. You can now turn on your larger portable electronic devices. As a reminder, please keep your seatbelt fastened while you are seated and do not congregate in the galleys or near the lavatory. This aircraft is equipped with onboard Wi-Fi. If you wish to connect to the Wi-Fi, you will be required to pay a small fee. We do offer complimentary in-flight TV thanks to our partners.
So we'll make that right hand
Connect to the
turn now.
Wi-Fi to find out more information.
As we now stay for 2-1, we can now start to speed up. So passing 10,000, LNAV and VNAV is in, we can now take on to the autopilot and the gear can now be turned off. As we pass through 11,000 feet now,
Ladies and gentlemen, the fasten seatbelt sign is still on. Please remain seated. While you're in the seat, please keep your seatbelt fastened at all times in case we do encounter any unexpected clear or turbulence. And for everyone's safety, please make certain all your personal belongings are free and clear of the aisle. You may now use all approved personal electronic devices. We'll be serving a variety of complimentary drinks as well as select beers, wines. In addition, there are other alcoholic beverages for purchase. Now we invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy our service on tonight's flight. If there's anything we can do to make it enjoyable, please don't hesitate to call upon us. Thank you.
So as we head now forward to 303, all the way to Ipnor, we're then going to basically make that right hand turn. We'll hit our top climb, we'll go into the hold, turn her around, and then come back down for 2-3, switch over the Q&H's. As we now get ready to go. So, what we can do is we'll go to our takeoff cinematics now, guys, and when we get back, we'll come down from Libla just before we enter the hold to turn around and come back in for the approach for runway 23 for the visual circuit. So, the visual circuit as well, before we do go anywhere, I'll show you before we do. We're going to go down for 4,000 feet. Once we come back in, we're basically going to come down. The circuit's right here, so once we come from Addons, we're going to hit the DME, which will be the Delta Oscar 28 Lima. And as we can see on our arrival, we've got the Delta Oscar 28 Lima, which is in. So we'll hit that right arc, and then from Addons, we're then going to come down to Queenstown. And once we hit Queenstown, we're then going to basically turn around and come in for runway 23. We have 4,000 feet for Queenstown as well. So don't forget to like and subscribe, guys, leave your comments down below, and I'll see you when we get back for our top of descent just before we enter the hold to come back in for the arrival. So I'll see you guys in just a sec. Okay, so as we make that right hand turn now, as we backtrack round back into Queenstown, we can have a look at our charts now. So from Libla, we're going to come down to ACOB. As you see, it's not very to scale. So as we come around that right hand turn now, and then we'll spin round to ACOB, coming for the 120, max 230. As we come down, we're then going to come down to Durik, then Ubdam. Once we get to Ubdam, that's where we're then going to turn off and go into the arc, which is going to start at the Delta Oscar 28 left. Then we'll do the 2 DME arc all the way round to Addons, where we're going to take the 260 to Queenstown, which is the 113.6. Okay, which is set. 113.6, which is also set and checked. So the VORs are in. There's Queenstown. We are currently 97 nautical miles out. As we make the right hand turn now, we're ready to come in for the airport. As we come in, we'll spin round onto the right, and we'll take it back down onto the 120. There's our top of descent. if we check in on our restrictions, says there's going to be a steep descent, which is fine, as we'll take over from there to go down to 7001. So from Agbob, we're then going down to Udum. There's the right DME arc, which is then going to take us all the way around, and then we'll be all ready and good to go. So take it down, we can say that we're going to go 250 9,000. Switch that in. That should then recalculate everything, and we should get down onto par for when we get ready to go. Okay, so 240. I'm going to now lower the altitude down to 150. That is below 24 and above 15. So there's 150. 2962 is the QNH as we come in. We can now get everything all set and configured for our arrival down into lovely Queenstown. Got a meter so we can see what the winds are saying. So the wind is 04008. Obviously we're going to come down on 23 because we want to try out the circuit. So let's go in and get our braking requirements. So performance landing, we're coming down on 23. Winds is 040. 08, which is set. Temperature. Down on the ground is 6. Landing weight coming in. See on our performance. We have currently got 57 to 53. So that'll be 0.4. So that'll be 63.5. Which is going to give us 146 plus 30. And we've got 63.5 in on our weight. Okay, which is set. So for our braking, we'll use max braking so we can get down onto the end, as we've got that fantastic view of Queenstown right in front of us as we get ready to come in. So we're going to make a left-hand turn from 151 down onto the 120. We'll then start heading down. You can see our top of descent, which is right there as we get ready to come, and then we'll start making our way down to the airport. So on our fixes, I'm going to get Queenstown up, and I'm going to put a 4-mile radius in, as we can see on our charts over on the airports for the DME MRA sectors. So I'm going to stay within 4-mile radius of the VOR, as we can see when we come around. We'll then basically backtrack round and then come in for runway 23. 1136 is in, Corsair is 234. We're going to be coming in as we incept down from Agbob, or Agbob, which is the 151. And from the 151, once we leave off, we'll be going to the 260. Okay, which is set. Both VORs are in. As we now go into that 120 left turn. Top descent is merely within sight now, just under 20 miles to go. Max bank 25, engine starts are continuous, which are checked, engine anti-ice which is on. As we now get ready for that lovely arrival down into Queenstown. So I'll make that left now. Lovely orthos which are in today. So top descent's 10 miles out now, as you get ready to come in closer. 120 is set for Dulig. And then once we arrive down, basically going to go to Ubum, which is max 250 to 24, and then 15. So we're going to cut off so then we can go into the approach and get in for the arc as we come down. And then we'll swing round and get the aircraft all configured. So there's the top of descent, 150 is set and checked in. 51 miles from Queenstown. Currently got a tailwind 42 knots. We come down for 250 at Woodmed. As vertical deviation comes to life now as the aircraft prepares the size descent. You can see on our vertical bearing as well. You can see that as the aircraft now gets ready and we pass down our vertical deviation, we'll now start to follow. So 2000, going up speed brakes as we go down to 250. Auto brake max we are going to use for Queenstown, as we need the speed brakes open just now, as obviously we've got 40 knot tailwind. So start switches are continuous, which are checked. We've got landing altitude 1200, 240 is in on our cruise. We're currently descending now 15,000 foot with MEB above and below 240. So as we start to do our range of descent, we can get the aircraft all configured and ready to go. So get the speed brakes in. As we're now down to our 268, 270. You can see MEB, which is just in reach, 16 nautical miles, 40 miles from Queenstown. Flaps 30 is going to be set, 146 plus 5 will be 151. You can see on the arrival charts that max 180, because we are Charlie. Once we come in, we're going to backtrack up. So we could have gone from the Queenstown VOR and then up to Delta 02. We're going to basically go from Ukmed and then we'll follow it all the way around. So we're just near to Ukmed now, and then we are going to basically backtrack to the 092. Passing through 19,000 now. There's the decel, so keep speed brakes open. Wing anti-ice is on. As we get some lovely views now on our arrival down into lovely Queenstown. Decel is just within reach, 5 miles, so I'll leave the speed brakes open. As we are going to descend down slow to 250 knots. Okay, we'll be moving left to the 092. 18,000 is 15. So as we come down now, putting 7,001. So that's what we should be doing when we make that turn from Agda. There's 250, decel's just coming in now. Throttles all forward back. Keep the speed brakes open, as we'll see the speed switch back now. Okay, so there's a decel. No speed window now, as we need to go down for 250, which is set. And come down and descend. You need it to follow the path. Okay, this 250, speed brakes can come in now. As you send through 16,006, currently 24 nautical miles from the Queenstown VOR, as we come in and get set to go. So we see we've got our speeds where we're going to slow down. ASUS will be flaps 5. When we do come in 210, just as we start to come down onto that right hand turn. So just before we get to that right hand turn, because we've got the speed window open, we can then slow down as we start our descent. So speed brake is armed. We'll go into our descent checklist and get everything all set there. Bit of cloud coverage on the way down. So for our cruise and descent, engine instruments monitored, fuel quantity has been checked, lights as required. On our descent, we've got the anti-ice, which is as required, which is checked. Landing altitude is checked for 1200, which we can confirm. Recall, which is checked, no lights. Radio altimeter barrow. Okay, so turn the QNH is over now. 2962. Okay, which is set. And 2962, which is also set, passing through 14,000 now. As we slowly come through, as we slow down to 250. Aircraft's fully configured, ready to come in. Continue on to our checklist now. So, minimums that we wanted in for the approach is going to be a 4270, which will give us a 3099. So, can be a little fiddly. Okay, there's 4270. As we get ready to come in now, and we'll track inbound, passing through 12,000. Can open the speed brakes up just a little now, as we're going to start slowing down. Okay, so we'll keep it down for 250. As we come down, we need to be going down from there to 210. Okay, which is set. Okay, speed brakes are open. $10 miles out. Now we're on the 092. 3 miles are in, 12 nautical miles from the side. From Queenstown, passing 11,000. 9 at the Delta 028. Speed brakes can now come in. You can see that we've got our next decel point, and then from there we'll be going down to 187, so we'll be opening up at flaps 5 as we come around the bend onto that right hand turn, and then we can get the aircraft all configured for the circuit. So we'll disconnect before our minimums. As you see, the missed approach point is right there just before the VOR. And then we'll fly down visually as we circuit round. So for the 092, we are then basically going to take the arc down, which will lead us to the 260 for actor. Past 11,000 feet. As we get back to the rest of our checklist, radio altimeter is set for 4270 for 3099 on decision height. Altimeter is 2962, I'll reset back to local. Speed's 250 knots, which is checked from the 250. Under 10,000, landing lights will be on, which are checked. We can stick landing lights on now. Runway turn-offs will be put on as we are on the approach, but we'll get them done now as we're going to be doing it visually, so we won't have that much time. Seatbelts can now go back on. So we'll bring the control column over now as we go into that right hand turn. There's a decel point, so I'm going to start getting the aircraft all configured and set. On our speed, it's going to be 187 at ASUS, so we'll leave it for flaps up now. And then we're going to go down to 2-1, which we're already sitting at, which is fine. So there's a descent now. As we come round onto that right hand turn, which will be for the 260. Okay, which is set. is setting. Everything else is fully configured. We've got the VORs which are checked, passenger signs are on, weather ATIS, got the terrain on which is checked the weather, coming in auto brake which will be max for the approach, got the altimeter which is checked, localizer frequency which we ain't using with the course, approach is off, glide slope we don't need, flaps will be armed, and speed brake will be armed, which is checked. Engine start switch is continuous and landing flaps will be set. So that's all fine there. It's going to tamp down for 7001 when we come for ACTUG. That's where we'll drop down into a flaps 5 and get the aircraft all configured. So speed brakes are armed. Always do that just to make sure that they are armed and they're not in the outward position. So we'll start our next range of descents. There's 7001, so we go down to 4000, which is set, which will be just below our minimums, so we will get the minimums call out and then we can disconnect and get ready to go. Passing through 8006. ACTUGS is going to be a flaps 5, which will be 187, or flaps 1. Okay, so there's ACTUGS. Now as we come in, so hitting for flaps 2. Slow our speed down as we now go into that descent. Okay, there's 210. Go down to a flaps 5, which gives us just that little bit more lift. Okay, slow down to 170. There's flaps 5 in there. As we slowly start to slow down. On our way down for the Queenstown VOR. Now we put a fix in, 4-mile fix ring, which we will follow as we come round. It's 260, which is set. As we're now going to follow in on the arrival for 4,000 feet. Currently now on the 260. Slowly slowing down as we rock into our flaps 5. Aircraft's fully configured as we slowly make that decel. So before our minimums we'll disconnect and then get the aircraft fully configured. We've got flaps 3151. So we'll take that all in. We've got auto brake set for max, which is all fine. Coming down on the VNAV path down to Queenstown, which is right in view. Currently 7 DME away. Okay, so as we now get fully configured and ready to go, everything's all in, flaps 30, 146. As we continue the descent down, we'll then hold off as we come round the bend now to then come down to Queenstown. So Queenstown is going to be for 4,000, so we'll get 4,000 in now. Use level change. passing through 5003. You can see the airport's in sight, just over 2 hours left. There's 5,000, which is checked. 4,000, which we've got
1,000
set.
to go.
1,000 to go. So just before we hit the VOR, we'll then make that right-hand turn around and get the aircraft all ready and configured to come in. So there's our minimums now. So disconnect the autopilot and we'll disconnect the auto throttle. And now I have control of the aircraft. Okay, so we'll just trim off a little bit. Minimums continue. There's 4,000 that we are going to hold in for. So we'll just slowly lift up a little. And bear in now. As we get ready now for that right hand turn, there's 4,000 which is set. So just as we pass the VOR, we're going to make a right turn. Turn for flight director now. Stay for flaps 5.
1,000 to
As
go.
we continue inbound. Onto the 260. Okay, so we'll make that right hand turn now. As we come around the bend, keep the aircraft nice and stable now, currently at flaps 5. As we've got the airport in sight, we'll go down to flaps 10 as we pass through 3,000 feet. Continue to descend down. Currently at 165. Keep the aircraft nice and stable now. Make that series of right hand turn all the way down into the runway. There we go, flaps 15, get out. Gear down, 3 green. Auto brake is max. Come down to our flaps 30. 151, which is set. Okay, runway's in sight. Okay, just add a little bit of power.
1,000.
Check.
1,000 feet, stabilized, Mr. Perch altitude set.
Okay, continuing down on the boundaries. Get a little bit of trimming. Check. Get a little bit of right trimming. A little high, one red.
400.
2 red, 2 white.
300. 200. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Okay, speed brakes are up. And reverses are active. And there we are, guys. Down in Queenstown. Hey, arms reverses can be stowed. And manual braking. And there we are, guys. Down in one piece. As we see the wind just bringing us over a little. So, fully brake now. As we come in, speed brakes can be retracted or stowed. And we can now disarm the auto brake and turn that off. So now get ready to turn around on the runway. Can retract our flaps as we make a 180-degree turn, and then we'll come back in for the gate. Okay, so we'll turn around. Flaps are stowed. And there we are, guys, down in Queenstown on the circle to land approach. So we'll taxi to the gates, we'll go to our landing cinematics. So don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. Leave your comments down below, and I'll see you again when we go in for the next available flight on the channel. So I'll see you soon, guys. Take care for now. Bye bye.